Hey guys, so I recently picked up the Olympus OM-D and thought I'd take some time out to review it. This is a great camera and it's a micro four thirds camera, which means that the sensor is much bigger than a point and shoot sensor, but it's still not as big as your normal APS-C sensor that you'll find in a DSLR or a full frame camera. However, one thing that really attracted me to the Micro Four Thirds format is the fact that they can make the body really small, and yet the camera can still have great image quality. And that's the primary reason why I decided to go with the Micro Four Thirds camera. Now, the Olympus OM-D is a new take on the Micro Four Thirds. Some of its features are that it has a magnesium alloy body, which makes it really durable and tough, and it feels good in your hands. It feels very solid in your hands. Some of its features, it has an electronic viewfinder, which is really great because it allows you to look through the viewfinder and see your subject, which a lot of cameras don't have. I'll give you a quick preview of that. And it has a proximity sensor built in, so you can just look through it and see it goes back to the LCD. One thing that I really like about this camera is the sheer quality of the LCD. It's amazing. It's an OLED, so is it uses organic light emitting diodes, and I don't know if you can tell in this video, but it's extremely sharp and lifelike. The LCD on this camera is the best I've seen in any camera. And before this, I had a Nikon D40, which is not really notable for its LCD, but I did get a chance to see some other cameras in some electronic stores, and this camera's OLED is really amazing. A great feature about this is that you can actually tilt out the screen like so, and so this is really useful if you're looking down and you're like shooting fireworks or something in the crowd. You can just look down on the camera like that, which is great. One feature that I really like about the Olympus OM-D is that you have the ability to choose where you want to focus. So right now I'm focused on the box, as you can see. What if I wanted to focus instead on that photo cartridge right there, that film cartridge? Well, all I have to do is go down, hit OK, and boom, it focuses on the film cartridge. Or let's say I want to focus on that USB drive over there. Boom. Or you can just let the camera decide for itself by going to all. And I thought this was a really nifty feature for the Olympus OM-D, and I really like this feature and I use it quite a lot. One thing that's really new with this camera is that it has a 5-axis image stabilization, which means that even if you're tilting the camera like this, it can compensate for it. And this is with any lens because it's built into the camera. And that's some new technology that Olympus implemented. And it's basically like the sensor is a floating head, so it's floating around, and that's how it's able to compensate for that distortion. The camera is completely dust and splash proof. However, the lens has to be dust and splash proof as well. I have the Panasonic Leica 25mm on here, and this is not dust or splash proof. However, if you had the 12 to 50mm kit lens, that would be dust and splash proof. The 14 to 42, however, is not dust and splash proof. Now, if you were to ask me what I like about this camera, the first thing I would say is that the images are fantastic. The colors really pop on this camera. I can give you an example. I guess I'll post a picture too in this video. But the colors are just fantastic with this camera. This is just a simple picture that I took of some vegetables. And the colors are just amazing. I mean, when you're especially using something simple like the auto setting on this camera, it just makes the colors pop. And a great feature is that you have the option of, let me try to show you guys here, let it focus. It's not focusing. Let's give it a sec. Okay, so you have the option here of choosing what type of tone you like. So you can use Vivid, which kind of pops the colors, or I-Enhance, which is Olympus's in-house enhancing for the images. And you can go ahead and choose other options too. They have monotone, custom, pop art, which I like. It really makes it look nice and poppy. But you have a bunch of filters, and the filters are actually pretty good. They're not bad at all, actually. I've used some of these filters, and they are amazing. I try to keep it on Vivid. I like it on Vivid most of the time. But the filters on this camera are really good, and the main thing about it is that the images really pop out, and you have the option of going JPEG plus RAW, so you can write both at the same time and then pull up RAW files later on and edit them if you want. But the JPEGs look fantastic on this camera. One thing that I would like to see in the future, though, in their next line, is probably have dual card slots. There's currently only one card slot on this, and that's for one SD card. Dual card slots would be nice, but I'm not really throwing away the camera just because it doesn't have dual card slots. The thumb grip is a great feature of this camera. It really allows you to get a good grip on it. The focusing is really fast on this camera, even in low light. I'll show you guys a video right now of the camera focusing in low light. It catches all the subjects very quickly. So I just want to give a brief demonstration of the 9 frames per second on the Olympus OM-D. I set the camera to the fast shooting mode, and it's shooting in JPEG. So let's give a demonstration. Now that's pretty fast, huh? And it just finished writing. So let's try that one more time. That's pretty damn fast. And boom, it finished writing. So that's pretty fast for a micro four thirds camera, I'd say. And again, it's around 4 frames per second with the autofocus and tracking, I believe. Its main competitors are the Sony NEX5, the NEX7, and I would say the Fujifilm X100 and X Pro 1. Now, the pricing for this camera is around $1,100, and that's with the 14 to 42 kit lens. This is not the 14 to 42. This is the 14 to 42 kit lens that it comes with, and you can buy this body only for about $1,000. Whereas with the NEX7, you're paying around $1,200 body only, and the X Pro 1, which has a higher APS-C sensor, is $1,700 body only. So you're looking around more than $2,000 with the X Pro 1 if you decide to go with that system. And the X100, which is a fixed focal length camera, you cannot change your lenses on that. That's $1,200. So this is relatively well priced when you look at its competitors, and the image quality on this is fantastic. I'm going to show you guys some pictures that I took with it and show you a video that I took with it as well, and I was very impressed with the video and image quality on this camera.
Every week. Yeah, you ain't gotta be like that. For a couple of weeks. Gotta take care of
In conclusion, I think that when you're looking at this camera and you're comparing it to the Sony NEX7, the Fujifilm X Pro 1, and let's say the Fujifilm X100, this camera really has something unique. It's at a good price point, excellent image quality. You have great lenses that you can buy, like the Nocton 25mm, which is a great lens. This Panasonic Leica 25mm is a great lens. You can buy the Olympus 12mm f2, which is a fantastic lens, the 45mm as well. So the lenses are definitely there with this camera. Um, Although the image quality is spectacular, I would not say that it is better than the Fujifilm X Pro 1 when it decides to focus, because the X Pro 1 has some focusing problems if you've been looking around and reading about it. Um, but all in all, I'd say that this camera really got it right. I mean, the focusing is instant, it's extremely fast, image quality is great, video is great, interchangeable lenses, great magnesium alloy body construction. You got an OLED panel that's tiltable. You've got an electronic viewfinder. You don't even have to buy the accessory port for that. Very customizable. You've got the aperture right here, exposure compensation here. Um, you've got your switches between the modes. It's just overall a very good camera, I would say. Um, and for somebody looking for a replacement DSLR, I wouldn't say this would replace your DSLR. Although I have personally sold my D40, and my D40 was a pretty bad entry-level DSLR, I would say. But I sold that, put the money towards this, and I'm not looking back. I know some people are selling their 7Ds and their 5D Mark IIs for this camera. The point of the matter is, if you're not shooting professionally and you're just shooting casually, like you're going to an event, or you just want to take some shots and have them look nice, better than a point and shoot would, the Micro Four Thirds system is really an awesome way to go. You can still stick with DSLRs, but the size of this, I know it looks a little bit big with this lens, but you can get a pancake lens, and that would only go up to here, and that's completely pocketable, at least in a coat pocket. Um, so you're really getting the size and weight advantage here if you decide to go with Micro Four Thirds. Overall, I think this is a great buy for anybody looking to get into photography, or somebody that wants to perhaps get DSLR-like image quality but doesn't really want the big size and weight. I think that this is a great buy for that type of person. And ultimately, I sold my Nikon D40 for this camera, and I am very, very happy with that decision. Everything about this camera is better than my D40, although my D40 is a few years old. It's still kind of, this camera swayed me towards Micro Four Thirds and away from DSLRs, because DSLRs have a big bulky size, and it's not really that convenient to carry around for that extra image quality, in my opinion, when in fact this image quality is better than some DSLRs, believe it or not, some entry-level DSLRs. So that's my review. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask me and I'll get back to you. Thank you very much.